Okay, guys, for our next pose is going to be Virabhadrasana 1 or Warrior 1. Best way to start this, we can start off in Tadasana or mountain pose. Feet together, energy drawing straight into the ground. Then you're going to make an L with your feet. And I'm doing this with my left foot, although I think it's backwards on the camera. And then I'm just going to step out, nice wide step. And what I want to do is I want to make sure that my knee doesn't go over my ankle. This is what's called shear force and will damage your knee very quickly. So try to keep your knee in line with your ankle. Your back foot, right now it's probably flat and parallel to the back of the mat. You want to kick your heel out more, almost like a 45-degree angle. Then you're going to do your best to draw your left hip back and your opposite hip or your right hip forward. Now you're not going to be able to come off completely square. So just draw it back as far as you can. Kind of plan on being 30, 45 degrees off center. And then from here, you're going to raise your arms up and just kind of sink into it. Goal was always for me to try to get my thigh parallel to the floor. And bring those hands up. Again, bring that lower belly in. Make sure you're not straining too far anywhere. And then down, back up. That's Virabhadrasana 1. Let's do the other side. I like balance, that type of thing. You're going to make an L with your feet. Stepping out this time with my right foot. Get my knee, my ankle aligned. I want to kick this back heel out. Straighten that leg. I'm going to turn as far forward as I can before I'm straining too much. I'm going to try to take my front hip, which is now my right hip, and bring it back and bring my left hip forward as far as I can. Still off center a little bit. Then bring your hands above your head. This is Virabhadrasana 1. Now to get a little bit more of a back bend out of it, you put your hands together and then just bend back slightly. Or spread your arms apart. Again, keep those shoulders away from your ears. That's Warrior 1. Virabhadrasana. Okay, guys, next up is Virabhadrasana 2 or Warrior 2. Same beginning. Start from mountain pose. I'm going to start with my left side first. I take that left foot and I angle it out, making an L with my feet. Step out wide. Bend into it, get that knee above your ankle, get that right heel kicked backwards 45 degrees off your toes. Now, instead of worrying too much about bringing our hips forward, we're going to let them relax more. We want to open it up more. You want to take your front knee and open it up backwards. Kind of give it a little bit of tension, not so you're out of alignment with your foot. You don't want to cause any undue stress to your joints. Then from here, you're going to raise your arms. You want to try to get your hand in line with your front foot, fingers and toes aligned, and the same off your back heel with your rear hand. Again, keep those shoulders away from your ears. Then you're going to stare right over your fingers of your lead hand to the wall. And just kind of look right through it. It's called the drishti in yoga. It's a gazing point. One more time, let's go to the opposite side. Again, from Tadasana. L with the feet. Step out wide. Get your knee above your ankle. Now you want to open your hips up more this way. Get this knee going to the right. This is my right knee, so it's going to the wall. Bring your hands out. Align with your fingers and toes. Fingers and heel on this hand. And then your drishti, or your gazing point, is just over your fingers to the wall. And sink into it. Opening up that right knee or that forward knee, pressing to the outside with it. And that's Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Okay, guys, let's try triangle pose, or Trikonasana. From mountain pose. This time you want to make, instead of an L, like we made when we were doing the Virabhadrasanas or the warrior poses, we're going to make a T. We're going to step out wide again. Not too wide. Keep your legs straight. Try to keep your hips squared forward. Again, even weight distribution down through both feet. Try not to be too far forward, too far back. We're going to be shifting our weight momentarily. Bring your arms up. Now here, what you want to try to reach for the wall with your lead hand and reach for the back wall with your hips. So you're going to kind of angle those out. And then once you feel you can reach your leg, bring your arm down, bring this arm up, bring your back arm up. Now, if this is as far as you can go, if you can only get to your knee, then stay right there. You're still doing a great job. But if you can go lower, even if you're not sure if you can go lower, just slide your hand down to your foot. And do not push it. It's very easy to injure yourself doing this stuff. You can go to the floor, go to the floor. Sometimes I like to hover this hand around because I want to know that I'm using all my counter muscles to hold myself up. Try to keep your hip open to the ceiling. Try to keep your hip going straight up. You want to try to look up toward your thumb if you can of your raised hand. If you can't, you have some neck issues, just look straight out or look down. That'll probably help with balance when you're getting started. You can go flat-handed, go flat-handed. Good. Now from here, you're just going to raise straight up like I'm going to try to touch the ceiling. If I have to use my leg, I use my leg. Then we're going to switch. Trikonasana, or triangle pose. Again, I want to reach to the wall with my hand while my hips trying to reach the back wall. And once I find I'm at my tipping point, I lever my arms so they're pointing straight up. Now I'm a little tighter on this side, so I probably won't be able to go flat-handed or even touch the floor. Yeah, I'm feeling that one already. Yikes. Again, keep that hip open. I mean, you can turn it. I have seen some teachers teach where you can kind of turn your hip over to get lower, and then you're going to work on your hamstring more. I like to work on my hips a little more, my flexibility and mobility. Keep your shoulders away from your ears again. And then when you're done, you're going to reach toward the ceiling and then even yourself back out. Good. And that's Trikonasana, or triangle pose. Okay, for our next pose, we're going to do one of my personal favorites, and it's Utthita Parshvakonasana. I know it's a mouthful, but it's extended side angle pose. One more time, Utthita Parshvakonasana, or extended side angle. Kind of like we were doing for Trikonasana, or triangle pose, or even the warrior series. Had a nice wide step. Now, instead of being straight-legged in this one like we were for triangle, we're going to bend our forward knee. And again, same rules apply. Make sure you're not going over your ankle, sheer force, you're going to hurt your knee. Then to start out, just bring your elbow down and straighten out your back. Try not to lean into this one. It's going to be easy to let yourself lean into it. Back foot is 45 degrees, or as close as possible to 45. And I'm just going to rest here. I want to open up my shoulders. I want to make sure my shoulders are still squared to the wall in front of me. I'm going to slide this arm up. Now here you can look at your fingers, or you can look at the ceiling, which requires you to open up and twist your upper body a little more, which you are going to get a much better stretch. But for now, just look at your fingers. If you can, bring this other hand down to the floor. Now if you need blocks, this is a good time for blocks. And I'll demonstrate that on the other side. And when you're ready, you're just going to swing your arm down and then kind of press up. Nice and easy. And you guys will start developing that fluidity in that transition from pose to pose. And in my personal opinion, that's where the real art of yoga lies, is moving from one pose to another. You can teach people a pose. You can say, here, do this pose, here, do that pose. But now have them get to each of those poses through a vinyasa, which is a little harder to do. Anybody can come up from a pose, kind of shake it out, and then move into another pose. But to be able to flow from pose to pose, and that's really the goal. And that's really what we want to look forward to upping our mobility. Okay, Uttita Parshvakonasana, going to my left. And we're going to use a block. So I'm going to ready the block. Get it right next to my foot because that's where I want to put my hand. Now, some people do put their hand behind, and if so, and that feels better for you, then just put your block behind your foot. Again, you're going to keep your back leg straight, kick that heel out. Drop down, knee above ankle, and then just rest on your elbow, on your knee. Bring this arm back. Swing it up over your head, and you're going to stare at your fingertips. Then from here, find your block. If that's a little too high, I can bring it down. Keep that lower belly sucked in. And then as you go, you can go right to the floor without your block. And try to keep from your fingers to your toes as straight as possible. Again, this is when a mirror is very helpful in keeping your form. And from here, swing your arm down and then right back up. Cool. That's Uttita Parshvakonasana.